Throughout time, there have been mysteries mankind cannot explain. But advances in technology have led to new theories, and the search is underway for evidence that may unlock the most baffling questions of our time. On Mystery Quest. The night sky is calm and clear. Across miles of desert, nothing moves, except one car with two men on a mission.
I could prove it. I know the place.
One, a physicist, is promising something shocking is about to appear.
It'll show up just over that ridge.
Then, right on cue, an object appears from nowhere.
Oh my God, what is that?
The bizarre craft disappears, and a secret is revealed.
I told you, we're not alone.
Questions about the existence of alien life have persisted for decades. Even more speculation surrounds the U.S. government and what it really knows. But amid the theories, there is one certainty. A belief that the public isn't being told everything.
The conspiracy theories surrounding Area 51 are numerous. People use this as a blank slate on which to draw their darkest fears.
While records are by no means complete, there have been thousands of reported UFO and alien encounters. From a mysterious crash in 1897, 6 years before the Wright brothers' first flight, to the Battle of Los Angeles in 1942, when UFO reports triggered massive anti-aircraft fire over the city. And the most famous UFO crash in U.S. history, Roswell, New Mexico.
If I was in charge of the military and the government, I would do exactly what potentially has been done, and that's keep it a secret.
For decades, there has been one location believed to be the epicenter of this government cover-up, Area 51. The military base is located in the midst of the Nevada desert, 85 miles north of Las Vegas. The name refers to a grid number found on an old map of the much larger site called the Nevada Test and Training Range. Built in 1955, reports of strange and unusual activity emerged almost immediately. Yet there is no official documentation the location even exists.
Up until recently, it's been denied that it even existed, even though people knew about it. So that, to me, that's a mystery.
Over the years, a portrait has emerged of this mysterious place. Many believe its primary purpose is a testing ground for the government's clandestine spy plane program.
Today, Area 51 is very active. They've built new runways, new hangars. I mean, there's some 24 hangars there, so that's evidence that there's a lot of programs going on.
Area 51 was created as a testing base for secret aircraft and secret weapon systems. That's all we know for sure, and that's all that the solid evidence is telling us.
But others believe these secret weapon systems are simply a smokescreen to cover the real story. In 1989, details began to emerge of a program that went far beyond spy planes.
There's a huge underground base out there, and that's where they work with the aliens, as hard as it is to believe. It's true. I mean, there are aliens all over the place.
If you and I walked in on everything that was being done, I'm sure we would be flabbergasted. We probably could not conceive all the different types of testing, or even try to comprehend some of the technology.
Now, Mystery Quest is mounting an investigation to try to find evidence of any government cover-up. The expedition team will look for physical evidence of UFOs in the desert surrounding Area 51. To do this, they'll search the sites of reported crashes.
Pete, I think we found something here. You may want to come take a look at this.
The science team will test recovered metal fragments and determine if they are from Earth or another world.
What do we got?
Mystery Quest will also talk to a former U.S. Air Force pilot who says the government is actively seeking to cover up knowledge of alien encounters.
It's registered top secret. You can't tell your wife, you can't tell your commander, you can't tell anybody in the squadron.
The team will also position cameras around the perimeter of the base and look for any anomalies that may appear in the desert sky. And use a powerful telephoto lens to glimpse further into Area 51 than ever before.
Right, there it is.
And our investigator will examine a new location to determine if the government has moved its alien operations. Area 51 operated in secret for decades.
A lot of people think that there's UFO activity at Area 51, with good reason. I mean, because of such a secretive nature, and the cat was let out of the bag by Bob Lazar.
In 1989, physicist Bob Lazar claimed the government was testing alien spacecraft at Area 51.
Bob comes by the house at night, and we're sitting over there, and he says, I saw a disc today. And I said, theirs or ours? And he said, theirs.
John Lear, a retired airline pilot, is a close friend of Bob Lazar. Lear says Lazar told him he worked at Area 51, analyzing the propulsion systems of alien spacecraft. These spaceships could travel millions of miles an hour using a strange atomic substance called Element 115, a material which allows the craft to move through space by bending and drawing it around the ship.
Space is a fabric. We think of it as a nothing, as just something cold and only containing one hydrogen atom per square meter, but it's actually a fabric. You can actually pull it. So you can go, if you could go 1 million miles every 12 milliseconds, you can figure out that's pretty darn fast.
To prove his claims, in March of 1989, Bob Lazar led John Lear to a location outside the base. Then he told him exactly where and when he'd see an alien spacecraft for himself.
It was descending. It had come up and everybody says, there it is, there it is. But I could see the yellow and the goldish. It was radiating and it was descending. And I could see it getting close to the mountain. It was a classic saucer shape. If you put one plate on top of the other, that would be a flying saucer. That was what I saw. Secret test site. And just a few minutes ago, we saw one of the government extraterrestrial UFOs fly over there. We all watched it for about 7 or 8 minutes.
Lear was stunned by what he saw and is convinced to this day it was not of this world.
It was exactly the day, exactly the night, exactly the time that it came up. So he had to have worked there. He had to have, been involved in the program to get information like that.
The expedition team is near Area 51 in an attempt to determine if what Lear and Lazar saw was real. Peter Merlin is an aerospace historian and expert on the U.S. government's experimental aircraft programs. Mark Easter is the International Public Relations Director of MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. MUFON is the world's largest civilian UFO research organization. Their first task is to set up camera traps that will continuously scan the skies for 48 hours, looking for any signs of activity.
We're on the Highway 375. We're headed towards Groom Lake Road, which is here, and we're going to get up on this side up in the desert and put the surveillance cameras up in this area here. There's less chance of somebody, happening across it, even for 48 hours, and see what happens.
Mystery Quest has obtained 3 specialized cameras to digitally record the skies above Area 51 for 48 hours. The cameras are weatherproof, designed for areas where light levels change drastically. Infrared technology will allow them to capture images during the night. But penetrating a possible government cover-up is no small task. And almost immediately, the team's investigation meets resistance.
Does it look like he might come this way, or is he going to stay put?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Mystery Quest has traveled to the Nevada desert, hoping to unlock any cover-up about what our government really knows about alien life and UFOs. UFO sightings have been reported around the world for centuries. There may be evidence that ancient cultures were visited by aliens. In Peru, giant figures of animals visible only from the air are etched into a high desert plateau spanning more than 50 miles. They are called the Nazca Lines, after the people who made them 3,000 years ago. Some believe they were ancient alien runways.
The Nazca Lines are aerial guidelines to find a path to the Nazca Plain. These markings, which range from hundreds to several thousand feet long, show direction and regions where they could land and conduct specific operations.
The period after World War II seems to have ushered in a new wave of UFO sightings. The most famous alien incident in history occurred in 1947 in Roswell, New Mexico. Reports emerged that the military had recovered a crashed flying disc from a ranch near Roswell, and suspicions of an intricate cover-up have been rumored for decades.
Parts were recovered, bodies were recovered, so the word went out before the military-industrial complex could get its hands on it and choke it.
It is now known that governments around the world have also been keeping meticulous files on UFOs for decades. The United States has yet to fully release its files, but in 2000,